So I'm back for part 2. So what I've done is the card here, I have glued it, the card with the booklet, I glued it on the page here, and I left the same amount on each side so it's centered. And I put the magnets here. So the magnets I use are, I'm going to show you, maybe I'll show you pretty quick. So those are basic grade magnets. I buy them at on Joann.com when they're on sale, and you have 10 pairs. Okay, so I put a pair here, so I glued one on there, and I've got the other one here, so I'm ready to peel and put it on the flat. So here you make sure this is all flat. You make sure that you have your gusset, to make sure that your gusset is nicely made here, and the gusset has to be perpendicular to the page, and you try and center your magnet. You just press and then your magnet is right there. Okay, so that's done. Now I have a pocket, so I'm making a pocket right here. So what I've done is I've measured from one side to the other side, plus about a little bit more than 1/4 inch. So if you want the measurements, so this measures 6 3/4 by 2.5. You can have it as wide as you want, so I like 2.5. I've scored on the lines where I have the width of my card, on my page, I mean, which is 6 inches. Okay, I fold that, I taper the bottom each side. Now I'm going to put the glue on. I have to get a better bottle. So I put the glue on the flaps here. Both flaps on the outside, and then sorry, inside I put a fine line of glue just on the edge, not too much, just to block so that the cards we put inside don't come out. So I just fold the top one, I put on the corner, I fold the bottom one, put on the corner, and I just make sure it's nice and centered, and I just wait until it is glued on. Next, what I'm going to do is so we have this made. You have the pocket, so all you have to do is mat. So you cut a piece of paper here that is a little bit longer. You just put the glue on the back, and then you just slide it a little bit, and you keep like a little border here all around. And you mat this, you mat this, you mat this, you can add a little pocket, whatever. And here I made a pocket with a card, so I'm just going to show you how I make one. Depending on the size, I'm not giving you the measurements, depends on the size, the size of whatever you want to put on the pocket, the matting on the pocket. So here I have this card here, so I'm going to put the card right here. So what I do is I cut a piece of paper that is maybe 1/2 inch, it could be 1/4 inch wider on each side. Same on the bottom. So the top, you just have like a 1/16 or maybe a 32nd of an inch. So you can glue that right now, so you know exactly where you're going at. So I glue that on my piece of cardstock. That one doesn't have to be heavyweight cardstock. So I just leave a little border on the edge here. Okay, I like to use my ruler to spread the glue that's underneath. I like to use liquid glue because I find that it's after it has dried, it's thick, and it makes everything so much thicker, sturdier. So here I'm going to score a line, just maybe a 1/16 of an inch next to the border of my card, all around. And then, this one is a little crooked, I'm going to redo it. Anyways, then I taper the corners. See the corner here. And I taper also the top, just a little bit all the way to the fold. And then you fold inwards. And all you have to do is put the glue all around. I know this is easy, but for the beginners, maybe they don't want to know how to make this. I used to be a beginner, so I really appreciated when everything was explained, little details, when you wonder how everything is made. And then I'm just going to do it, I like to put it like a little crooked. Not too high, because you're going to have a card with a pull, like a little tab. So if you want to have a tab that's a little long here, you have to have the room here so it doesn't stick up from the album. So you just glue all around. So that's done. And I could have matted this, but I don't have enough paper, so I just leave it like that. So that page is done. On the other side, so here we have a liner, which is also called on-page pocket, and we have a regular pocket here. So I've cut my papers already. So we have to know where we're working. So I suggest that we always put the arrows, put the arrow here, and then you can do the same on your other page, which is here, so that you don't put any pages, any matting upside down. Okay, so what I've done is I've measured the height of my page, same height, okay, and here I have measured the width. I've made a mark on my cardstock, and I've added like a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. I think 1/2 inch is good. That's going to be to fold inside. Okay, so I've scored those 2 lines where I put the 2 little marks. Now I can do that, but first what you have to do is what I like to do here is that the top of my on-page pocket or liner is double so that it doesn't tear. So I decide how high I want my on-page or my liner to go. So I like to have 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to score a line right there. That's going to be the folding line. Here, so that it's easier to mat afterwards, I like to cut just a little angle all the way to the corner, and then I turn and I do a little angle here again. I like to do that because then when you mat inside, when you mat something, you don't need to go so far with your matting because the angle would be so low. So that's why I do that. So first of all, I will fold the top line, top score line. I will put the glue. I will glue that on. Just fold it. So that's double. It makes the pages, the on-page pockets, or the liner, as I call them, sturdier, where you're going to put cards inside and manipulate quite a bit, so you want to have that sturdy. Okay, my arrow's going that way, so now what I can do is I will taper the bottom flaps, and I will put the glue on each flap. And also I will put a fine line of glue on the bottom. So the bottom is where you have the taper. Okay. So I'm going to do that on right here. And on each side and on the bottom, flush. Or you can have it just a little bit sticking out, but this is pretty much flush. So you just glue that on. So that's your liner or on-page pocket. That's how I make them. It's very important to especially if you use regular cardstock, to double it here so that it's sturdier. And then on top of that, we have a regular pocket. So I have calculated here a pocket. Could be this high, could be whatever you want, as long as you have here, sorry. So it could be whatever length, height you want. So here's good. I could make it a little bit, I think I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. It's going to be like this. So I put my paper here. I make sure I have the same width as the the liner or the on-page pocket. I will keep calling them liners. And you have to have like 1/2 inch on each side for the fold line, just to make sure. Okay. So you score on each one. This is the one line. That one was wrong. So good. And on that one right here. Again, you taper. So you do the same as you just did the pocket, the liner. Okay, you taper both sides because this one you don't want to see on the bottom and this one you don't want to see on the top. But it doesn't matter because you're going to mat that anyways. As long as you taper the ones on the bottom, it's more important. So you just put the glue. Glue it flush to the bottom and the sides. Oops, you have to put this fine line of glue here on the bottom too. Okay, bottom, sides, all is good. And you just press. So that's your on-page pocket. I'll show you how to make the card that goes in there. And here you can put whatever card you like. Could have doubled that too if you wanted. So that's that page. So I'm done with this. So next page will be the, so this one I'm going to put away. So you mat that, you cut a piece here, you make it a little bit longer so it goes inside. And you do the same here, a little piece of paper that's just going inside here and a little wider, a little higher so that it covers a little bit of the inside. Okay, now you need to have your 3 envelopes so that you can make the file. So the file is a three layer file and you have 2 envelopes per layer, and we're making a pocket in the back to put a card in there. Okay, so first, because I probably won't have time to do all of it before the end of this video, so I'll start and then I will finish on the next one, on number 3. So this is number 2, so you just do number 3 for the following. So you just put a fine line of glue to glue as if you were sending an envelope, a letter in the mail. So here you see you have this much here paper, so you have to put less glue, not as far, because you don't want it to smear so that it would glue everything together. So you don't want to do that. So you just a fine line around. That's all you need. And then you press. All 3 of them, you press. Then you turn them around. And then you find the center. So the center would be at, okay, you take just the one envelope. You find the center. You make a mark. Okay, that's going to be it. You can cut it right now if you want. So that's going to be the middle one here. Okay. Next, you will look for just a little bit off the center. So here I went to, I just put it a little past the 7 inches and a little bit past the 0 here, so that I have the center, which is 3.5. That's what I did on this one. But here I'm going to go a little bit further, so it's going to be 3.25. Okay, and then you're going to trace the same on the other one. So you go like this, one next to the other. Make sure they're nice and even, and then you make the mark for the other one. So you're going to cut those 2. So you have the large, a small, another large and small, and you have the 2 medium ones. So if I put them all like this, you see they're all nice and even. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to look for the opening. So you have to have the opening all on this side. And also what I like is I like to have, when we glue the envelope closed, that part facing me. so that when you look inside the file, you don't see that seam. There's a seam here, right behind here. You don't want to see that seam. It's not very nice when you look and then you see, I don't know if you can see the seam right here. You don't want to see that when you look into your envelopes. So if you have all those seams facing you, then you don't have that problem. So you check to have all the seams facing you. You check to have all the openings on the top here. Then you measure, you turn that around, because you want to measure where you're going to punch. You're going to use this 1-inch punch. You can have an 1.5-inch punch, whatever you want. You're going to punch here in the center. So you need to have all the openings here. Now you look for the center. So here I have 5 1/4, so it's going to be 2.5 plus 1/8. Okay, so this is the center. Double check. Okay, now you do like a fan. You make sure everything is nice and even, and then you just go like this. So you've measured all 6 in one shot. Now I use my punch. Here on my punch I have marked the center. I have marked a line here and here, and another one just a little bit lower, so that I have like kind of 2 depth of half circle, and then I have the center to center with my lines. So I center my line, and here I'm going to use the lower, the smaller, not as deep. So I'm going to punch all of them. And then what you're going to do for the next step, you're going to find a little strip of paper that you're going to pick, because right here you need to cover the one envelope here. So you find some paper that you pick. If you have if you have already started to map your papers, your pages and your pockets, and you have little strips left over, you need to have, I would say, 1-inch strip by the width of your envelope. So you cut those two, this width here and 1 inch, so that would make them 5 1/4 by 1 inch. Okay, so you get that ready, and I'll come back for the continuing of those parts. As you can see, it's nice and even. We have to cover this one here and this one here, just a strip, and then this one here we're going to cover also. It's nice to have a different pattern from this one to this one, so you can really see that they're different. See, this one is different paper than these two. I could even have done different on this one, but it's okay. So I'll be right back for the following. See you later.